Yep.
One of the main primary ways that we utilize Hatch and outbounding is on unsold estimates. So we have an inside sales department who, if I think our rules are, if the job is ran between beginning of the day and noon and it's unsold, they get a text message in the afternoon saying, hey, this is so-and-so, just checking on, make sure Billy did a good job, and so on and so forth. We'd really like to talk about the options he left you if you have any questions, so on and so forth. If it's afternoon, then they get it the next morning. And then that campaign continues to go on. I'll give you an interesting stat. I was at a conference last week where Google presented, and they have all this data. It's crazy data where they say that in home services, it was like 25 to 29% of work is bought same day. Another 22% of that work is bought in day 2 through 7, which tells me that if you're not following up consistently, if you don't have a campaign that stretches out at least 7 to 10 days, you're missing out on a ton of work that typically you're thinking that you buy day one when the tech's out there. So I think that's the biggest one as far as like campaigns that we use. If you're not following up on unsold work, you're missing out on a ton of opportunity, because your booking rate, what that tells you is for every 10 clients that you buy, you're paying for those leads. How many of those 10 do you actually get to run an appointment for? Again, I want it 90+%. So for every 10 I buy, I want to run 9. And I think that's hugely important because a lot of people are like, well, I need more leads. I need more leads. Well, my guess is if you don't know your booking rate, you probably have a lot of leads that you're already paying for that you never run. So I think maybe what you're getting at as it relates to kind of Hatch and their capabilities are like it's speed to lead. And Tim probably knows the metric on how fast, but it's really freaking fast. I think it's like within the first minute, when it comes to your maintenance, like gone are the days of people picking up the damn phone. Okay. That's why Tim created the product that he did, because people respond to text message. And so we have campaigns where we will send out basically a link to customers to book their maintenance. So like when you think about outbounding in a call center, well, like, yeah, they can pick up the phone and call, but how many people can they legitimately call in a day versus sending out a text message to 1,000 people? And we book, we've had days where we've booked 50% of the text messages all signed up to book their maintenance. Well, that's a huge time saver. And it's a hell of a lot more efficient when it comes to booking calls. And again, giving CSRs time to talk to the customers who want to talk. We're looking at everything, a bucket of maintenance that's over 10 years old, because we know those are opportunities to sell new systems. So we look at maintenance in that bucket. And then we look at maintenance under 10. With maintenance under 10, we're primarily running a maintenance technician who's younger, doesn't have as many skills. And so the way that we look at that is we look to route those geographically. So we'll send out text messages, but we group them and show them capacity for some of the certain days so that I can keep my maintenance guys, because it's not about right tech, right call in a maintenance situation. I can keep them in the same area, whereas my over 10s, I just want to make sure I got enough of them on the board. So we're very strategic about how we send them out in order to, hit geographically and or make sure I got the right tech going to the right place. A big push for us right now is selling more memberships in the call center. I think that's where you can hugely grow your business, is to create more memberships. And, so we've gone over a lot of training, when to pitch it, when not to pitch it, what benefits do people care about? You can be against it, but it's here. It's here to stay. If you think that it's just going to magically go away, you can think that. I'm of the opposite camp. It's here. It's technology that we need to leverage. So, in HVAC, I can never staff a call center for when it hits 95 degrees outside. I can't do it. If I did, then I'd have people in March just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. Sure. I guess the way that I think about it is that the people currently on our team, I may just not need to I may not need to double that team.
Right.
And, to me, I care about the people on my squad here. I don't think there's ever going to be a day where I don't have CSRs that are humans. There's always calls that AI is going to struggle to, handle. And you're going to want people that want to talk to a live person. But there's a lot of the population that just wants to book that call as fast as humanly possible and get back to their life and know someone's coming out. And that's what we see. Like I said, we're using AI right now. We are leaning so hard into it because I think that it is a complete game changer when it comes to call centers and what we're doing and how we're doing it. But I still need the people on my team because they're really, really good and they can handle those customers. And so what it's allowed our CSRs to do is really focus on those customer interactions that we feel are important and that customers really value, as opposed to, a CSR may take 200 calls in a day. Well, what we said earlier, only 30 of them may be actual leads. The rest of them are telemarketer, this, that. So to me, it's like AI is like, we can use it to scrub all the junk off of their plate so that they can focus on, hey, this is Mrs. Smith and she's really concerned and we want to take great care of her and we want to, verbalize that over the phone. I think that's where it becomes impactful. It's how do we make our CSRs better and more efficient at doing the things that they're very, very valuable at doing, as opposed to taking umpteen dozen calls, all of which 30 of them were only customers that were asking for your service.
Yeah.
I'll give you one kind of mindset shift for us. As we got bigger, when we were small, it was a call center because it sounded cool, but we also just had Nancy, who seemed real nice. Hey, Nancy, I just need you to answer the phone, right? I just need someone to answer the phone. I think where the shift comes, and when you want to create a high-performing call center, it needs to be thought of as a sales center. Think of like security and moving and places like that. Like they sell over the phone. And I think you need to look at it from a perspective of, they're not selling the new water heater over the phone. Get it? But they're selling that appointment. They are selling your company as the right person to send a technician out to their home. And so I think when you can transform that, and I think a lot of that goes to what we've talked about earlier with KPIs and tools and training and all of this stuff, it needs to become a sales center. Sales. You want to sell those appointments, fight through objections, book the job, all of those things. And I think that's where you start to see this growth, and you wouldn't think about it, right? Most contracting businesses are started by a guy who was out in a truck by himself. He didn't focus on the call center. He probably had people calling his beeper, like that was how they started. And that's fine, but there is so much money to be gained in that call center. And if you want to grow your business, to me, I always look at it as if my call center is not right, it's like I've got a bunch of holes in my bucket and leads and money and everything is just leaking out the bottom. Whereas if you can shore that up, then you have a stable foundation to start to grow your company.